Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 15 of Paranormal Among Us. I have a few stories to share with you all today, but before I do that, I want to remind you that if you have a paranormal story to share, maybe if you live with a spirit in your home, maybe you've seen a ghost, had some kind of poltergeist activities, or seen something strange in the sky, please send me an email about it. I'm at paranormalamongus72@gmail.com. That's paranormalamongus72@gmail.com. And I'll be happy to share your story with everyone on here. But don't worry, I'll keep your identity private. While I'm at it, please make sure you like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any future episodes. The first one comes to us from Anna. She writes, I was in high school from 1985 to 1989 in Massachusetts, and I ran on the track team for 3 of my 4 years. When I was a senior, I had a friend on the team named Rachel, who was a sophomore, and her grandmother had recently passed away. She was very close with her and had a hard time dealing with her grandmother's passing. One day, after track practice in the locker room, Rachel confided to me that her grandmother was at our practice. Like most typical high school tracks, it circles a field that is used for football, soccer, and lacrosse, and there were bleachers on both sides of the field for spectators. When we practiced, we had the entire track to ourselves, no football, soccer, or lacrosse players on the field, and there were no spectators in the stands. If you looked over at the bleachers, they were completely empty. That day, in the locker room, Rachel told me that during practice, she would look at the bleachers and sometimes she'd see her grandmother sitting there, watching her. I didn't doubt her when she told me this, but I was also a little bit skeptical. The next time we had practiced, I looked over at the bleachers several times and never saw her grandmother, but I assumed that I probably wouldn't. Her grandmother was only visible to Rachel. On the last day of practice during my senior year, it was raining out. We had our last meet in 2 days, and we were getting in our last strenuous and very wet practice for the year. Rachel whispered to me that she had seen her grandmother sitting in the bleachers. I was the only one she had confided in about this, so she whispered it so no one else would hear it. I glanced over to the bleachers, but I did not see her grandmother, which didn't surprise me because I hadn't seen her all season. However, instead of seeing her, I did see a spot on the very bottom bleacher that wasn't wet. It was exactly the size and shape of someone sitting on the bleachers. I asked Rachel where on the bleachers her grandmother was sitting, and she pointed to the bleachers on the left side of the track and said right in the middle of the bottom bleacher. That was exactly where I had seen the dry spot, and when we went over to it, the spot was still dry. I never told Rachel that I saw where her grandmother was sitting. I just nodded and said something comforting. I don't remember exactly what I said, as it was 34 years ago. I graduated high school, and Rachel still had 2 more years of track to go. I never did ask her if she continued to see her grandmother, but I will never forget my sighting of the dry spot on a rainy day on the bleachers. Our next story comes to us from Harry. He writes, Many years ago, shortly after I graduated college, I got married. We immediately moved into a basement apartment because we were both college grads and broke, so that was all we could afford. We rented it from an old lady who lived upstairs. Shortly after moving in, we realized that the apartment had a poltergeist, and we were soon terrified. Whatever or whoever lived in that basement with us would make it very clear over the next few weeks that it wanted to live alone and wanted us to get out. Dishes, glasses, and other items would fly off the shelf all by themselves, and my wife was hit by flying objects several times. And there was always a feeling that we were being watched. One night, when we were getting ready for bed, as soon as we walked into our bedroom, we heard a disembodied voice say, "Move out." We looked at each other and got the hell out of there. We moved out for good 2 days later and stayed with family who lived nearby. Luckily, whatever spirit that was there didn't follow us. We later found out that the old lady who owned the building died a few months after this, and the building was completely torn down. To this day, when we drive by, it is still an empty lot with just grass and one single tree. Our next story comes to us from a viewer who lives in Fenton, Missouri, which is a suburb of St. Louis, and it's actually a video from October 2008. One night, his family was outside with some of their neighbors, and they caught this video of a single light in the sky moving at a pretty good speed.
Where's that 40 scope?
Moving.
Where's that 40 scope?
Moving. Will it freeze it? Oh, your video freeze it. Oh, your video. You don't hear the sound off, right? You don't hear the sound off, right?
Shortly after this, a few other lights seemed to appear out of nowhere. And you can see in the second video, they formed some kind of diamond shape in the sky. And as you can hear in both short clips, whatever it was in the sky wasn't making a sound.
There you go.
I think that's the mothership.
Exactly. That would have been cool to see the satellite.
Do you want me to get you the binoculars?
As you can see in this video that I captured in my backyard, when a plane flies overhead, you can see flashing lights, alerting other planes up to their whereabouts. I'll put them side by side and you can see the difference in the two videos. The video on the left is the airplane flying over, and the one on the right is the UAP. Any thoughts on what that was captured over eastern Missouri? Here's a video once again. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Will it freeze it? Oh, you're videotaping it, aren't you? Mm-hmm. You have the sound off, right? Mm-mm. Oh.
That's what we really told you.
I don't think they're in any kind of pair with their UFO.
Okay.
Great story.
There you go.
I think that's the mothership.
That's all the time we have for today. Hope you enjoy the stories. If you have a paranormal story to share, please email me directly at paranormalamongus72@gmail.com. That's paranormalamongus72@gmail.com, and I'll share it with our viewers on a future episode. Also, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss anything that comes out. Thank you for watching today, and stay safe out there, everyone. And as always, I will see you on the next episode of Paranormal Among Us.